I could talk about the Charlie Kirk thing forever because it's so much to talk about. But don't you find it ironic how every time a black man gets shot, the first thing that comes out of people's mouths is, well, that wouldn't have happened to him if he was white. Well, anytime there's a white shooter or something like that and they're taken away in handcuffs, well, that wouldn't have happened if he was black. Well, the disgusting level of political rhetoric that has become toxic to, number one, common sense, but it has been utilized as a personal excuse to absolve oneself of any personal responsibility has become so sickening and so divisive and so festering in our nation, where we cannot even mourn the death of someone who maybe you didn't like the person, but you have to admit that they were an important, powerful figure in politics. Where was Charlie's white privilege? When was that going to kick in for all these people who say nothing bad can happen to white people? Then, when something bad happens to white people, they cheer and celebrate as though it was somehow karmically, justly due. I don't know about you. Heads of state, politicians, that is an occupational hazard. I don't want that to happen to anybody. I don't want that to happen to anybody I disagree with, but it's an occupational hazard. But for what happened to Charlie Kirk, somebody who was a political commentator, a political mover and shaker, a content creator, someone who has never ordered anyone's death, never ordered a drone strike, never ordered anybody to be taken off of food stamps, never had the political power to do anything to influence anybody's lives. All he did was state opinions and back them up and get people to agree with him because they're common sense. To somehow say that he was a Nazi and he was bad and he was a bad person and he deserved it doesn't even make sense. It's not even a logical argument. You can debate up and down whether or not any president of the United States was a good person, whether they did terrible things. You could even say that about Trump, because every president of the United States has to make very difficult and sometimes wicked decisions. But Charlie Kirk never was in that position. He never did those things. So when I hear people on the internet, these left-wing crazy people, talk about how he was a bad person, where's your evidence that he was a bad person? Where's your evidence that he was a bad person? They have no evidence. And then where was his white privilege? We're all human. Have a nice day.